Hey guys, welcome back to Bows Fan TV. And today we're going to be doing our opposition fan preview for our game against Derry City on Friday. I'm joined by Derry fan JP Fahey. How are you?
All good. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, so going into the game, Derry have had a bit of a rocky start to the season. Obviously, Declan Devine left there a few days ago. Uh, Brought in Rory Higgins. You just went up to Sligo there on Saturday and got your first 3 points of the season. What did you make of the overall performance in that game?
Thought it was very good. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of an attack from either team. But I thought overall Derry controlled the game with and without the ball. We forced Sligo into trying to play long balls in behind us rather than getting the ball in defeat and allowing their attackers to run at us. But Rory touched on it after the game that as the weeks and the games go in, they'll work on the attacking side of play. But I think it was just all about trying, and Saturday was just all about going there and getting the 3 points, even if it wasn't pretty. And it definitely wasn't pretty. But look, we've played some good football all season and got nothing for it. So look, delighted they get the first one of the season.
Yeah, it was interesting to see who would come in to replace Declan, obviously, but he's brought in Rory Higgins. What did you make of that appointment overall?
It's an exciting one. I know there's a few people want it. I know a name, somebody with managerial experience. But for me, it's about thinking outside the box, and that's exactly what the club have done. If you look at Shamrock Rovers, they're Stephen Bradley's in his first managerial job, and he's doing fantastic. He managed to end the the uh, the couple of decade wait for an FAI Cup and a near decade wait for the league title. Look, I'm not saying that's what Rory's going to do here, but you got to look and think, well, sometimes a first managerial appointment can work for the good. And it's the same at St. Pat's. It's Stephen O'Donnell's building something good there. And just think people just need to give Rory a chance. For me, it's an exciting appointment. Looking forward to see what he can bring to the table because he comes very highly rated throughout the league.
Yeah, obviously, I think Declan Devine doing a pretty decent job with there. He just, for whatever reason, something just wasn't clicking. Whether it was just the recruitment and obviously with COVID, it was kind of hard to bring players in. But still think he done a pretty decent job. I just think maybe the signings and maybe just his whole squad sort of just didn't click really. But going into this game, how are you feeling going into it?
Feeling a lot more positive than what I did maybe a week or two ago. I know we've improved as every game has gone on this season, and I think with or without the Vine, that first win would have come eventually. But look, we're delighted. Look, Rory's the manager now. We're going to get behind him. I was gutted to see Declan go, but equally as happy to see Rory come in. I think he's worked with Stephen Kenny for the best part of 15 years as a player and a coach and a scout. So he comes with good pedigree behind him. And I think it showed on Saturday night that he managed to get good instructions to the players and they took it on board straight away. And look, he's got a full week now to prepare for the game against Bows, and I'm more than confident that with a week to prepare that we can definitely get something at Daily Mount.
Yeah, I think this season our home form hasn't been great. That's kind of what's let us down a little bit so far. Um, we've been pretty decent away from home, but I think if you look at the results at home this season, we let a 2-0 lead against Longford slip. Ended up being 2-2. Then we played St. Pat's and lost 1-0. Played Sligo there the other week and lost 3-1. But yeah, I think we're just kind of lacking a bit of consistency right now. Obviously, it's going to take time for the players to gel. We brought in 9 new players during the off season. The game against Rovers on Friday was probably the best we played all season. I thought a lot of positives to take from the game, even though we lost. But I think against Derry it'll be difficult, obviously, because it's going to be difficult coming up against a new manager. new kind of fresh ideas. It's going to be hard to kind of know how Derry are going to come into this game, what their plan is. But how would you see Rory Higgins setting up in this one?
Not really sure, to be honest. Probably much the same as he did against Sligo. He's still getting to know the grip. He's trying to get to know their strengths and their weaknesses. So it'll probably be something similar to what we saw at the weekend. Because I know Bows were heavily tipped to be the nearest challengers to Shamrock Rovers this season, and for one reason and another, it hasn't quite worked like that. Possibly, as you mentioned there, 9 new players coming in the off season. That's the way Derry have been over the last 7 8 years. Is a full new squad coming in every year, and it's hard to build something and get something gelling right away. Um, but I watched the game on Friday night, and Bohemians deserved absolutely something out of that game. They really did. They had the chances as well, Shamrock Rovers. So they are still a dangerous team, and if you allow them to play, they'll play through you and they'll get chances. And I probably see Rory setting up similar to what he did against Sligo, and trying to stop Bohemians from getting the ball into the danger men. Because if you get it into Alexa, Ross Tierney and Burt, and then Keith Ward as well, they're all dangerous. And of course, we know Georgie Kelly comes alive in the box. I know it hasn't quite worked out yet for him at Bohemians, but I think as the season goes on, he'll start to find his feet.
Yeah, I think the way we set up this season is kind of more whoever we either like Rob Cornwall or James Top will kind of pump up the Georgie Kelly. He'll kind of chest it down. Either Ross Tierney, Ali Coope, Keith Buckley will be there, and you'll play it out the Burr or Keith Ward on the wings, and they'll just try work that magic. It's worked for us at times this season, especially in Tala there. Our goal came from a good bit of play,
Yeah.
uh, and as you said, we probably deserved a bit more from the game. We thought we were quite good. Probably deserved at least a point, but it is what it is. Just have to come into these games. Bring the confidence into the games. Try and get 3 points. Because there's been times where we haven't played well, but still have got 3 points. Up in Waterford there a couple of weeks ago, we weren't brilliant, but still got the win. Um, is there any players that you've been impressed by from Derry this season so far?
Yeah. Ronan Boyce at right back has been absolutely superb. Um, he came in for the suspended um, Danny Lopano after he got sent off against St. Pat's. Ronan started the next game against Shamrock Rovers, and he's played the last 3 games. The last yeah, 4 games he's actually played the full 90 minutes, and he hasn't looked out of place. He's a 19-year-old who signed a 2-year deal at the start of the season, and he's playing like he's been playing in the league for the last 3 4 years. He's been absolutely brilliant. I think of the one in midfield, and Will Patchen, who's come in on loan from Dundalk, because it took a couple of games for him to get going, but he's starting to show now why we brought him in. And I think if you look at in the midfield as well, we know what Kieran Harkin can bring to the team, and he was in and out the last year and a bit under deck on the vine, so he hasn't been able to get that rhythm. He started the last 2 games, and he's been probably Derry City's man of match. And then if we look at Brendan Barr as well, who was brought in to start against Shamrock Rovers, and he played against Drogheda as well, and came off a bench against Dundalk and Sligo. So there is there's a few players there, but the one that has really probably stood out for me is Ronan Boyce at right back.
Yeah, it's obviously good to see young players from the kind of local area coming into the team. A lot of our kind of better players this season are kind of younger players. Look at Tierney, he's been brilliant this
Yeah.
season. You know, the Lions has come through, done well. Other players that have played well for us this season. Kelly's looked good in some games. Some games he might be a bit off it, but I think to the way we kind of set up, he's quite important to the team. Liam Bird's been good. He's shown what he can do, what he can bring to the table. Obviously, it's going to take time for him to kind of settle because I think, as Keith Long said after the Dundalk match, I think when he got let go by Celtic, that was a few months ago where he wasn't playing football. I think, but I think he's taken the League of Ireland to look at the water at times. You know, he's shown what he can do. Took his goal against Sligo there the other week really well. Yeah, got some good players there. You know, I think it's all about kind of settling in, and we'll improve as the months go on. You brought in a player there on loan. Was it on loan? Um, his name again, Joe Hodge. Yeah, Joe Hodge was
Yeah,
on loan
yeah.
from Man City. Obviously, I don't think has he played the season. No, yeah, I
No,
don't.
he's currently back at Manchester City getting treatment on a back injury. I think he came to Derry, and in his first week they discovered that he had a hairline fracture in the bottom of the back. So he's gone over to Manchester City to try and get that rectified. I haven't heard anything on the latest on it other than a few weeks ago. Declan said that he expected him back. He did expect him back at some point, but didn't know when. He's only on loan until the summer, but um, hopefully he can come back in the next few weeks and we can see what he's like, and maybe even hopefully Rory will try and get that deal extended at the end of the season if he shows that he's got good potential. They add to the squad.
Yeah, because there was a lot of hype around him when he first came in. You know, he's quite highly rated at Man City. Obviously, Man City are one of the top clubs in the world. Like, Tariq Wilson came from CER left back, and yeah, obviously people were saying like on his day, Joe Hodge could be one of the best players, if not the best player in the league. Like, and
Yeah.
obviously it's lucky for him to have that injury, and you'd hope that he'd be back soon. Because you'd like to see good players playing in the league. Getting minutes under their belt. But if you were to give a score prediction for the game, what would it be?
Um, Look, I'm hopeful that we've got our season up and running now. It's a big game for both teams. Bows have lost their last two, and Derry unbeaten in their last three. So Derry will be looking to go into this game now and show that Sligo wasn't a fluke, that they actually have turned a corner. Um, I don't like giving out I don't like giving out predictions prior to the game, but look, I think because I kind of a bit superstitious in that and maybe jinx it, but look, it's going to be a difficult game for us. We know that, but if we can do what we did against Sligo at the weekend, I think we can replicate it and more. I think there's every chance that we can come away from Dalymount with at least a draw. But I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say another 1-0 to Derry.
Yeah, that'd be a good win for you. Obviously, it wouldn't be good for us. But just before we end it, just want to quickly get your thoughts on both this season. Obviously, I'm not sure if you've watched much of us this season, but what have you made of us so far?
Um, Surprised. I thought expected more from you. I really thought that you would be the team that would be pushing Shamrock Rovers at the top of the table. It hasn't quite worked out like that, but look, we're only 7 games into the season. There's still 29 more games to go. There's plenty of games for Bohemians to click, and I expected them to be comfortably in Europe. But look, it's going to be tough for them. But I have seen bits and pieces of their game. I watched the 90 minutes on Friday night, and they played well in patches. But for me, it was too much of an open game for both teams. I watched the game in Oriel Park and against Dundalk. I saw the majority of that, and it was quite similar to what Derry did to Sligo. And at the weekend, Bohemians made it tough for Dundalk to get into any kind of rhythm, and they got the early goal through George Kelly from the spot, and they done superb, and they stopped Dundalk from playing. As I say, quite surprised that Bulls have started the way they've started. I expected them to have a lot more points than what they have done. But look, it's still early days in the season, and I have no doubt that come October, November, Bohemians we'll be up there around the top 4 or 5 places, trying to squeeze into the European places. But yeah, totally surprised because I tipped them for a comfortable top two finish, but it's just the way football is.
Yeah, we're kind of making it a bit of a uphill battle for us, where we didn't start the season well, We looked at our first three games of the season and we saw Finn Harps away, Longford at home, Pats at home. You might have said, yeah, we'll get 6 points off Finn Harps and Longford. Pats might be
Yeah,
a bit difficult, but we can still win that. But it didn't turn out that way. We only got 1 point from them three, and that point against Longford was one which we should have had wrapped up by half time. But we were
yeah,
comfortable in the first half. Longford didn't get anywhere near us. 2-0 up then. Georgie Kelly hit the post in the second half, which could have made it 3-0, and then our heads started to drop a little bit. Kate Long's decision making was a little bit strange. He brought on Bastion Heary, and he wasn't great. Like, he was giving the ball away, and just not really contributing to anything. Yeah, and then we got 2 wins on the bounce there against Dundalk and Waterford, and you're thinking, yeah, this is
yeah.
where we'll kick on now. This is where we're going to start to climb up the table. Then we got two defeats there against Sligo and Shamrock Rovers. I know they're two good sides, but Sligo was a disappointing one because first half we were okay, that sort of all right, but first half or second half we were a bit better, but overall we just didn't take our chances. Keith Ward had one which he really should have buried at like the 84th minute, which would have made it 2-2. And we've shown in the past that when we show a little bit of surgence and energy towards the end of the game, we normally get at least a point or 3 points even, but it wasn't to be. And then the Rovers game was frustrating because we played well. We went 1-0 down and whatever early on in the game. We were thinking to yourself,
Game over.
how many because
Yeah,
we were quite open defensively, and you were worried that this could turn into a bit of a barren. But um, we got we picked ourselves up, and we got the equaliser from a well worked move, and then we continued to play quite well. Second half, I thought we were the better side by a mile, really. I know Rovers, they got the penalty. Some would argue whether it was a penalty or not. If I think I could understand why you maybe gave the penalty, but the red card might have been a bit harsh. Uh, but that's just the way things are. But yeah, I'm hoping we get the 3 points here because we really need it. If we weren't to get it or if we were
yeah,
to lose, then it's
yeah. Because it's actually a situation like where Derry lost their first 4 games this season, but they're actually going to this game now against Bulls on Friday night with the potential that if they win the game, they'll go above Bohemians. And as a Derry fan, you wouldn't have thought that 3 4 games ago. So it just shows you how quick football can turn like that. So and to touch on the game there against Rovers, you were absolutely magnificent for especially in the second half. Like as you say, after 4 minutes, Rovers took the lead, and I myself thought that was game over. It was just a matter of how many Shamrock Rovers would actually get. But Bose came back and did absolutely brilliantly. And if you remember back to Bert, I'm not sure if it was 1-1 or 1-0, but he had an absolute gilt-edged chance. He had a full net aim at basically, and he put it wide of the target. But Bose responded really well, and I understand why you feel that the red card was harsh, but um, from my point of view, I think the referee is thinking, well, if he's not pushed, then Danny Mandrew's going to get on the end at and have a shot at goal, and that's probably why the red card was given. But um, it's one of them ones you see them given, you see them don't, and unfortunately for Bowes, it was given on Friday night, but they'll be hurting by that. They'll be hurting that they've now lost 2 in a row, and it'll be on the back of their minds that if they lose to Derry on Friday night, that potentially that they could be in the bottom 2 or 3. So it's geared up for it's geared up for a good game, for a good battle, and I just hope that we can keep keep the momentum going and hopefully get at least another draw out of this game.
Yeah, I think the players will be wanting to get something from this game. They'll be feeling hard done by after putting in a great performance against Rovers, and then not getting anything from it. So that'll be something that they'll be thinking about. So that's where we're gonna end it. Thanks
No
for coming
bother.
on.
No
It's
bother.
great
Pleasure.
talking to you. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking heading into the game, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.